Thought Media Network is proud to present Cosmic Prayers, your weekly shift, Mondays at 11 Mountain Time, with your host, Laura Topper. The Cosmic Prayers, live from the UK. And now, here she is, Laura Topper.
Hello, and welcome to the Cosmic Prayer. I am Laura, and I'm so pleased to be here with you right now. It's Monday. This is the place to be. You're on New Thought Media Network. The Cosmic Prayer, each week, guests come onto the show to talk about their experience of prayer and how it has absolutely catapulted their lives. And this week is no exception. We have the incredible Reverend Erica Brown. Erica is based in the UK and has been a minister for many years and practicing science of mind since 1975. Such a wealth of information and wisdom. I am just so pleased to be here with her now. So let's welcome on this week's guest, the Cosmic Prayer, Reverend Erica Brown.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm so absolutely delighted to be here, Laura. Thank you for inviting me.
Hi, Erica. How are you?
I'm very well indeed, thank you. Very well indeed. Yes.
Good. Oh, I feel so great because this show is really a UK show tonight.
Yeah.
Yes. We're here in the UK, in different parts of the UK.
Yeah.
And So, Erica, you have been a minister for many years and practicing science of mind in your own life since 1975. And you were just explaining to me before we came on about how your experience of that and how it has, and how different it was then and how it's evolved for you over the years, being a minister and a teacher in this philosophy. So.
Yes, at one stage people had to go to America to be able to do any training. We could train as practitioners in this country. There was a group in London and a group down here in Bournemouth. And the one down here in Bournemouth, I think, was run by Reverend Rita Parr. And the one in London was run by Reverend Nona Cox-Head-Bell. And you may remember that at one stage that there were sort of two organizations side by side. The London group was one and the Bournemouth group was the other. but we had a lot of contact. We did have a lot of contact. So we were able to train up to practitioner level. But if we wanted to go any further, really and truly, we had to go to the States. But when I first became involved with science of mind in the mid-1970s, you had to go over to the States for everything. There were no courses being run in South Africa where I was. They had weekly meetings at a place called Zoo Lake in Johannesburg. I remember it well. And it was run by Dr. Linda Clark, who was a minister within Religious Science International. And she's actually mentioned in the book Spirits in Rebellion, which was one of the textbooks that I actually used in the ministerial training way back then. And she was actually instrumental in helping me to stay alive, actually. I know that sounds terribly dramatic, but she did spiritual mind treatments for me because I had been given a very serious diagnosis with a very short survival time. And my goals at that stage were literally to stay alive from 1 month to the next.
Were you a practitioner at that time?
Oh, no. There were no courses being run.
Right, okay.
Being run. I had access to something called the Creative Thought magazine, which was a very small little magazine, but it was crammed full. It was just a couple of articles at the beginning, and it was a daily spiritual mind treatment, so that I had that daily focus. And that's how I learned, with the quotes at the top and through the the actual spiritual mind treatments, which are our dynamic form of prayer, if you like.
Yes.
It's where we set an intention, where we make connection with whatever it is within us at our core that is the truth of our being.
So I just want to stop you here, just pause you here for a moment, because it feels like you had a calling and you weren't going to stop, and you followed that calling. And at the time in your life when you really needed to connect to that greater being that I know as the divine, a very simple prayer turned it around for you. It feels like such a blessing, because often we overcomplicate things, don't we, with our spiritual practice. It can all become just so complicated. Got to do the meditating and the visioning and the visualization and the whole thing, and by the end of it, it's like, oh my gosh, I just want to get on with my day. This feels like, you know what I mean? Although this is so important to have a daily spiritual practice, but it feels like you're reminding us here of the simplicity of this.
And it's very, very direct, because for a lot of us, we've come from a very traditional approach to religion, whereas the science of mind is actually a philosophy. It's a way of living. And what it does, by doing what we call the spiritual mind treatments, or these dynamic prayers, we are making that direct contact with whatever that is that created us. And it doesn't matter what you call it. You know, some people call it infi, because it's infinite, and it's a more personal way of sort of saying, infinite, you're part of me, you're in here. It's just that short form. I like to use true source. You like to use divine. So some people will call it God, because that's what they're comfortable with, and other people will sort of say, well, it's just life force. It's the quantum field. So whatever people are comfortable with, it's plugging into that. And Ernest Holmes used to have this lovely expression: there is a power in the universe that is greater than us, and we can use it. And how we apply that becomes the daily practice, and that daily recognition of that power operating in, through, as, around, and for us. That's it in a nutshell. That's it
simplified. Diego has just put this here: the secret of prayer and its power in the outward life depends upon the unconditional faith in and reliance upon this inner presence. Dr. Ernest Holmes.
Yes.
So it is a faith, isn't it? And when we have that level of faith, or even the faith of a mustard seed, we
had no faith.
Allow ourselves to open.
I had no faith when I started this. I was in desperation. I was facing effectively a death sentence from the illness that I had, and I didn't believe that something as simple as words could turn that around.
Wow.
And I didn't feel that connection to start off with. But the more I worked with that daily practice, the more that helped me to open up to the fact that actually, yes, that it wasn't God sitting up on this big white cloud somewhere, you know, with a long floaty beard, and pointing the finger as in the Da Vinci picture. So I think it's Da Vinci or Michelangelo, I can't remember.
Michelangelo, I think.
Yes, that one.
Of them.
Yes.
So they were both amazing.
but it became a much more of an awareness that there was that deep inner contact, that it was literally every breath I was breathing in the divine, I was breathing out the divine, whatever that is for anybody. That it's the ultimate expression of love. It's the ultimate expression of love.
So
and
you
that turned it around.
Your personification of that turned it around. Your willingness to take that in and embody it and embrace it.
Bless you. Thank you for that. But I feel that I have been guided along my path. This is very much a journey. We were speaking before, and you commented on how the science of mind is a way, it's a journey. It is a pathway.
Yeah.
And it is, for me, it's been a pathway of self-exploration,
Yeah.
and bringing up into my consciousness things that I had buried deep from childhood, and finding ways of being able to address some of those things. I'm still doing that. I'm still uncovering layers of that, and it never stops. But what it does, it keeps me centered in what's important. At the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is what's going on for me in my soul, for me in my consciousness, for me in my awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can share that with people, then I'm doing what I came here to do.
Yes.
So it's about creativity. It's about being part of the flow of creativity of the great creator.
Yeah.
And
you are sharing that, aren't you, with people?
Yes. Oh, yes.
You are doing that.
Yes. Yes.
And when I first met you, Erica, which was not in 1975, because I would have been about 4. No, it was. No, I would have been older than that, actually. 9. I would have been 9. Maybe I did meet you then. I'm just to look at our little comments here. We've got Wayne Baldwin commenting in Dwelling Christ in all the cosmos. Yes. Yeah. Hi, Wayne. How are you doing? It's great that you're here with us on the Cosmic Prayer. I will get to this Indwelling Christ in all the cosmos, but I just want to get back to this, Erica. When I first knew you, you were in a different part of the country. You were more up north here, and you were guided
to come
to Bournemouth. In the Midlands. So I'm geographically challenged. You were actually guided to come to Bournemouth, where you are now, near Bournemouth.
I do have.
So you've kind of gone, you know.
I do have family connections here, although I've never met any of them, and I could be sort of walking along and bumping into them on the street and not know them, because that was the sort of family that we were. But I have been very much guided to follow my instinct, if you like. And the main Bournemouth Centre at one stage, there was a possibility that I would take that over from Reverend Anya. She was at that time.
And Reverend Anya's still there now.
Well, this is it. She was contemplating retirement, and that's really what sort of prompted me to start coming down and getting to know the area, getting to know the people. And I subsequently moved down about 3 years ago. Gosh, is it 3.5 years ago, maybe? 2000. Yeah. Gosh, it doesn't seem possible. 2.5 years ago. And it's taken me until this year, literally just before the lockdown, to move to Christchurch and just to start getting myself organized to be able to have a separate centre here. And sort of working with Reverend Anya in conjunction with her, so we overlap. Without she's doing some things and I'm doing other things. So right. we're not sort of taking it away from each other in any way. We are collaborating. That's
You're working together. Yes.
We're working together. We're collaborating to make sure
working together.
Spread. Yeah.
Because although we're in the UK and there are very few of us compared to the States and Spanish-speaking countries, we do have a beautiful network of practitioners and ministers.
And it is growing. It is
growing, and a very strong and committed and devoted network of people who live by this philosophy and are teaching it as their life's work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I mean we've got David and Lynn up in Hertfordshire,
that's right,
who have been involved as a study group for I think about 26 years.
I think so, and it's a very powerful group.
It's around about that. We've got a lady in Northern Ireland. I believe we have a lady in Edinburgh. We have yourself in Brighton. We have Anya and myself. We have another couple near Portsmouth. We've got in Gosport. and we have a network of people now over in Europe, in Holland, in Switzerland, and we have obviously other contacts as well, and in Germany
and Africa.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Norway.
Don't forget Norway.
And Jamaica. We were just discussing.
Yes.
So, yeah. So we're planting seeds here we are planting. These seeds are flourishing, and I know because I'm constantly using prayer, which I know we're going to talk about prayer a little bit more, and your choice of word, because you have another choice of word, don't you, rather than prayer. But we are praying here in this region, or in the global region, for Science of Mind and Centers for Spiritual Living, for an expansion and a deeper growth of this philosophy, because it works.
Absolutely.
It works when we use it, doesn't it? It works when we use it.
And that's really why I'm starting off the new Centre for Spiritual Living here in Christchurch. It is going to be a teaching chapter. It is going to be making information available in different ways for people to be able to link in, to be able to have access to a daily practice, to have access to information and all the resources and links literally around the world. To be able to enhance their understanding and that inner connection, yes.
It's so exciting. Will it be an online teaching chapter, or will you have a physical building as well?
At the moment, because of all the nonsense and the hoo-ha that's going on, it's not really feasible to have physical meetings. So to start off with, they will be online until unless we're able to have meetings in person again, which I hope won't be too long. I hope that'll happen, because there is an energy actually when people. Yes, you can build an energy online, but it's not the same as having that being in that same physical space. There's something special about that, you know. So,
It's somehow the feeling, isn't it, that gets miscommunicated or is not as fully present when we're people in a room. We can really feel them and their consciousness and the energy, and it's just I don't know. I miss that. I miss being in groups of people and having that connection.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I'm so grateful for this, this way of communicating through Zoom.
Oh, absolutely.
And all the other platforms that we can use to be able to connect like this, and have these.
And I have had people who's being able to use the Zoom to do courses at times that suit them. There are online courses offered from the States, and they are brilliant courses. They're run by fantastic ministers, but the timing doesn't necessarily work for a lot of people. So particularly in Europe, if they're working during the day, they need to be able to access courses in an evening and to actually have a live face to be able to interface with.
Yes, at the right time.
That makes life a lot easier, because I know people who have done the online courses out of the States, and they've been up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Hello, I'm here.
Exactly. And that does take dedication. It does take dedication. But hopefully with Zoom, with the internet, it does make life a lot easier now.
Yeah.
And more is being done through this sort of format. Yeah.
So Erica, I'd like to ask you, and for anybody that's listening now or catching up with us on New Thought Media Network and the Cosmic Prayer, because people do watch this afterwards and really enjoy it. Your personal experience of prayer, you like to call it intention setting.
Intention setting, recognizing the truth, because that's what we're doing. When one of the expressions that we use in Science of Mind is to do a spiritual mind treatment for people, and what that's doing, it's plugging into an individual's understanding of the creator and the creative process, recognizing that they are part of that process, that we can never actually be separate from our creator. We are of it, and it is in us always. It's in every breath that we take. As we're breathing in love from the divine. As we're breathing out, we're sharing that love. Whether it's coming through as oxygen or carbon dioxide, that's neither here nor there. What we're actually doing is the energy behind that is actually pure love, the pure givingness of the creative spirit. So in the spiritual mind treatment, having sort of recognized that there is this immense power in the universe that is way, way bigger than us, our brains cannot encompass it in any way, that we recognize within ourselves that is operating in its perfection. And we recognize for ourselves that the perfection of that expressing through us as perfect health, perfect supply, perfect enjoyment, whatever the person's focus is at that particular time. And then it's a question of being aware that we don't do the work. We are not creators. We refer to ourselves, as does the law of attraction, as being co-creators. We create nothing. All we do is effectively make the mold for the universe to do its own creating through us. It's like we are the microcosm to its macrocosm, where we're making the mold for it to continue its process of creating, because that's its function. That's what it wants to do. It wants to expand more and more and more, and it does it through us. And we have the capacity to be able to think and imagine and visualize what it is that we're asking the universe to create through us or for us. And in doing that, we recognize that it's not us doing it. And there is that step, a very important step of the spiritual mind treatment, of gratitude, of just being so in awe of the power that can do all that. And cure, certainly heal. I would hesitate to use the word cure, but certainly, so here I am sitting sort of 45 years later, when I was expected to expire within months. So something's going on there pretty powerful. Going to digress slightly. When we're doing spiritual mind treatments, we're not asking for something. We're not supplicating. We are recognizing the spiritual truth of our being, that it is our right as a human being, or as a spiritual being having a human experience, to have certain qualities in our lives, to have certain experiences in our lives. The fact that we are open to the Creator expressing that through us, that we have that awareness, that gratitude, that thankfulness, and being in awe. And then we have that final step in the spiritual mind treatment, because we are not the creators of whatever we experience. We are only the co-creators. We are the trigger, if you like. We let go and we let God. And at that point, we busy ourselves in doing whatever we need to do. We have to take action. We have to generate the energy for the universe to get behind and actually build the momentum. It doesn't do it from a standing a point. We have to put something in action. We have to put legs on the treatment, is one of the expressions that used to be used.
I love that.
When we do that, when we start to put legs on the treatment and trust that somehow, even though we have no conception of the how the universe brings things about. We just know that somehow, whether it's through the quantum field, the energy of that thing comes together and something changes in us, that we develop the qualities that we're wanting to develop in us to be dare I say, a better human being or a nicer human being, or a more qualified human being, however that wants to be. Some people will treat for things, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that's very often the stepping stones. When somebody is fairly new into science of mind, they're learning the process, and when they can see something tangible resulting from doing a spiritual mind treatment, whether it's getting over an illness, whether it's being given a new car, whether it's being sent on holiday to the place that you wanted to go, whether it's manifesting the house that you first saw some 50 odd years ago, which is what I've done. I've never told you about that, have I?
You did that. You did that.
Did I? Yeah.
You did that. So just because we have 5 or 6 minutes left, but I just think it's an interesting story before we actually give a treatment here together. Right. I just think it's a really interesting story, because the whole point of this is to inspire people that are listening, to inspire the listener to actually to start using intention setting or that connection with.
One of the things that we can never dictate is when something is going to come about. We don't tell the universe, well, I want it by next Friday. I want that person to turn up and take me out to dinner next weekend. I want that new car sitting on the driveway or outside the apartments by the end of the month, or the court case finished by next Tuesday, whatever it happens to be. We can't dictate in that way. We're just sort of putting that into the universe that actually these are the sorts of things that we would like. Now, even before I came into the science of mind, I was working for solicitors, and we were working on conveyancing. We were, in those days, it was when they were first building a lot of the new estates, and we worked for one of the big construction people in the UK at the time, and one of the estates that we worked on was here in Christchurch. And I was looking at some of the plans of how this was all coming together, and the different phases of the buildings, and we were involved in actually the sale of the houses and completing for the people who were moving into them, completing the legal work. And I was sort of toying with the idea of being able to sort of find somewhere to live, and looked at this map, and I thought, oh, now, would I want to live in one of those sorts of houses? I knew I didn't want to live in one of the little terraces, but I wanted to have a detached house. And there were a number of them, and I sort of looked at them, and there was one house on a corner. And I thought, oh, that looks as though it's got a little bit more land than some of the others. That would be a nice house. Knowing that
how long ago was that? How long ago was this?
In 1970.
Okay.
1971. And now the reason I know that it was here was that the names of the roads were all literary. There was I'm on Bronte Avenue. The road round the corner is Haworth. Byron is just up the road, and Shelley and all sorts of other names around here all have these literary connotations, and so I know that this is the estate that I saw way back then. And what happened was I put it out of my mind. I without knowing it, I was taking that final step of the spiritual mind treatment. I expressed my interest in what I wanted to experience, and then I let go and let God. I got on with my life. I did all sorts of other things, and it's only now
work it out.
Is it really 50 years? It has to be about 50 years.
85, 95, 105,
I'm living down there.
It's 45 years.
Yeah. And I moved to this house. Well, I saw the house for rent earlier last year. I said, no, I can't possibly afford that. Far too costly. Went off on holiday, went off and did other things. When I came back, it was still looking for a new tenant. And I thought, oh gosh, yes, that it feels like the right house. It feels like the house that I want to be in. And I'm not really thinking that I was going to be able to organize it. I arranged a viewing, and the lady who was here let me in through the back door, straight into the kitchen. And I thought, yeah, this is it. This is where I have to be.
This is amazing. So you're actually living in the house that 45 years ago you set a loose intention.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a direct intention to live there. You looked at the plans and looked at the map and said, oh, that would be lovely.
Yes, exactly.
And here you are living there.
But this is why I say we can't put a time on when something's going to come into fruition. You know, that there have been some tangible things that I've to put to the universe, if you like. I have an abiding interest in France and things French, and I can remember one evening watching a travelogue on a couple of holiday venues in France, and I was just sitting there absorbing it all and sort of think, gosh, that would be lovely to be able to go and see that for myself. And one of the hotels that was part of this tour was in Fontainebleau, and it had a frieze painted like a balcony around the main reception area. And I thought, oh gosh, I'd love to be able to go and see that for myself and sort of see how real it actually looks. And within a couple of weeks, my mother had contacted me to say, would I and my then husband come with her on holiday, because at the age that she was nervous of traveling on her own. And at the end of the day, she had a fall. She wasn't able to travel, but she insisted that, as I say, my then husband and I go on the holiday. And we were taken from the airport by coach, and they told us at that point that the hotel that we had been going to had a fire. So we had been going to be accommodated in a different hotel that the courier didn't know personally. So we rolled up in Fontainebleau to this very modern exterior with lots of marble in the foyer and all this sort of thing. Went through to the reception, and there around the reception was the frieze. The painted balcony. Wow, I get quite emotional. Because that came out of nowhere. I hadn't expected it. And there were other things that were part of that.
That's amazing.
That they were part of the holiday. And I went there, places that I wanted to go to for many, many years. I was there suddenly, and it was an amazing experience. Amazing experience. But that is something that happens in my life fairly regularly.
Well, it feels to me like you're just so connected, aware of your connection in a subtle way, in a very subtle way, that it's happening because you're not forcing it.
Oh, you can't
allowing it. You're not forcing it.
No, if you try to force it, you actually create a barrier,
a resistance
to what you're trying to bring into your experience. So it is very much a case of letting go. Just get on with what you need to for today, and trust. And if there are question marks around the trusting, then the first thing you work on is developing trust.
And I just, before we go, because we're nearing that time now, but there's just one more thing that's coming through for me for what you're saying, is that in our teaching, there are so many we look on Facebook, we look online, and everybody is saying, so many people are saying, we can think it into our experience, and, if you have to visualize it and then you get it right, and we feel, if it isn't happening, that life isn't working properly because of the films, you know, like such as The Secret, where it's all popularized and made very glamorous and almost celebrityized. But actually, that's completely the opposite to how it works, isn't it? For me, and my understanding of it.
We're not always ready. We're not always ready to experience what we're asking for. Yeah. And sometimes we have to go through a learning process of peeling away the layers of resistance within ourselves to get to the point of being able to actually enjoy what we're asking for. It's like oh my gosh, it's fairly legion of the number of people who've won a lottery jackpot, for instance. Who had never had money in their lives, and within 2 years, all that they had has gone, because they were not prepared for it. But if your financial increase is gradual over a period of time, then you're learning how to manage money. You're learning how to deal with the people associated with money, so that you don't lose it all. So you know, it's like. Oh gosh, do you remember the children's nursery rhyme about the little piggies and how they had the house of straw, and then a wooden house, and then they had a house of brick. They couldn't go straight. They didn't know how to build with brick to start off with. They had to learn how to build the house of straw to start off with, and then to make something more substantial with a house of wooden logs. And then from there, they went to building with bricks. And it's exactly the same thing. Whatever we're working on with asking the universe to bring into our experience through doing the spiritual mind treatment, of recognizing that as being our spiritual truth of what we can be, of what we can have in our lives, or what we can do in our lives, then that's part of our learning process, and that's why it's so important to be open to the new learning, to the new experience, to becoming something different. Because very often I come across people who say they want something different in their lives, but when push comes to shove, they don't want to change. They don't want to learn whatever it is they need to learn to be able to be, do, have, whatever it is. And it is that way around. You have to be before you can do, before you can have. And a lot of people
so true.
Have in order to do, so that they can be. And it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way.
We have to be so open and flexible when we ask for change, because it happens in the ways that we cannot even imagine. And we're asked to experience life in ways
people you have no conception
that we may not feel comfortable with.
That
we may not feel comfortable with, and that discomfort and learning to navigate that discomfort is a part of accepting the change as well, isn't it? For my own personal experience.
And ultimately, it is trusting the one.
I'm just
trusting that connection within, that we are part of.
I feel so. I could. Yeah, no, go on, finish off, say it, because we're going to pray together. And
what I want to say is that ultimately it is becoming more and more aware that the one indwells us always, and whatever it is, it's not out there. It's not something separate from us. It is something that is intrinsically a part of us, and we are intrinsically a part of it. It is the microcosm in action. As a result, and that's awesome.
That's where the work is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where the work is. That deeper understanding and knowing. That's what I pray for.
I'm becoming more and more aware of that. Becoming more aware of that, trusting that actually, even though we can't see how it's working out, somehow it is working for us, because ultimately it is a beneficent, that's the word I want, a beneficent creator that wants only the best for us, only the most magnificent life for us. And when we recognize that that is the spiritual truth of our being, then actually maybe we can start to relax and know that whatever's going on, it doesn't matter, because it's got us in the palm of its hand. It's only wanting the best for us, and when we let it, it will guide us. It is
it is doing it anyway.
Right in this
it's doing it anyway.
Yes.
So let's pray now. Let's not pray. Let's set intention. Even though we're on the cosmic prayer. We're going to do a not prayer.
Yes.
With Reverend Erica. But I would just like to, for anyone that may be still listening, because I know that you are still here because you love this show. We're with Reverend Erica Brown, who is in Christchurch in the UK. And I think Diego might put your details up again, your email and there we go, freemaker@btinternet.com for anybody that wants to contact you personally and know more about your amazing work. And your center, which is the Christchurch CSL, which the website is underway, isn't it? And there we go, csl-christchurch.co.uk.
That's it.
These details will be here forever, so people can find you, Erica, and learn more about you and connect with you in the UK.
That's lovely.
Yes.
Thanks.
So, and Wayne, thank you for all your amazing comments and being here, supporting this show. We're so grateful for you being here and saying everything that you are saying. Yes, we work collectively. We do work collectively. That's why we're here on the Cosmic Prayer.
Yes.
So you're on New Thought Media Network if you're listening here. And if this has fed you and nourished your soul, please feel free to click the donate love offering button that is down in the link, because this is a collective network that is a ministerial focused ministry community that relies on your giving and offering and acknowledgement financially, because so many people show up here on this platform day in, day out, 365 days a year to give to you, to allow you to know the truth of who you are. That's New Thought Media Network. So before we go, me and Erica are going to do a intention setting verbal affirmation. There we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Erica, what would you like? What's in your heart right now for the purpose of this?
The purpose of this, I think, it is a focus on a deep healing, an emotional healing, a spiritual healing, a mental healing, whatever type of healing a person is wanting at the moment, to be able to be at ease, to experience the joy of life and the livingness of life.
I love it that you said that, because I had joy in my heart before. It was the word that came to me before we even hooked up here today. Joy. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. And I'd like to add in well-being there.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes.
So would you like, we have a beautiful Facebook user, I do not know the name, but thank you both tonight for this lovely and divinely timed reminder. That was the perfect message for me today. That's why we're here. That's why we're here, to be able, with one person, if we can reach one person, we've done it, haven't we, Erica?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. There's an expression in Judaism that if you save one life, you save the world.
And that's so true, because we are the world, aren't we? Within our own.
We are all part of the one. We are all part of the one. And it always amazes me how when one of us is having an experience, actually there are echoes for everybody that we know.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So let's do this now. Would you like to begin, or would you like to complete? You choose. You are the superstar guest here today.
Okay, there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. The creator of everything within the oneness of our universe, and isn't it strange that we call it a universe? That creative spirit, that creative intelligence is all powerful, all knowing, all loving, all giving. We are never separate from it. It is part of the air that we breathe. It is part of our very cells of our being and all the spaces in between. We are it in expression. We have no idea of how powerful we are as human beings, being able to express that omniscience, that all power, that all knowing. One of its expressions is as perfect health and well-being, with joy, with ease, with comfort, with supply of everything that we require to be our best self. And knowing that the infinite is seeking to express itself more and more through us, in, through, as, around, and for us. We can make that claim, that state, that intention to allow ourselves to open up to that free flow of the infinite in all its givingness, in all its perfect healing, its perfect health. That's the original blueprint of who and what we are. And if Laura would like to carry on from there.
I would love to, Erica. Thank you. And I'm so grateful to be here right now with Reverend Erica and for the New Thought Network and Diego and Reverend Robert, because I know that this healing is happening right now. We are revealing truth in every moment. And as we open up our hearts, and I see this happening right now, that we're becoming the available, the vessel, the receptor. We're becoming this glorified space to allow health and joy and well-being to flow through us, through our lives. And as we do this, we give permission to others to do this too. So I know that there is this infinite flow that is the divine flow, that, as Erica says, is always seeking to express and expand through each of us. And I see us each now accepting that, taking that as our mantle and going with that and opening our hearts. Opening our hearts to allowing this joy and health and well-being to be who we are and to being the greater expression of that. And I'm grateful, just so grateful for the demonstration of this and for Reverend Erica being here right now, for this whole network doing its thing and sharing this knowing and love with everyone around the globe that tunes in, whenever that is. I'm grateful for anybody that is listening right now and hearing what has been said and taking that into their hearts. And so I simply let go of this, knowing that it is done and that Spirit is always here, loving and guiding each of us. And as I say with Erica, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Erica. Namaste, and thank you for being here and for sharing and inspiring me and everybody that has
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Erica Brown.
God bless. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper on the New Thought Media Network. If you've enjoyed this programming, please tell a friend and join us again next week for Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper.